Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khusham ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, pakhair ragale, washmale, ishpata, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Well This Morning on a very fine, a very pleasant Friday morning over here in Islamabad. And I really hope it's going to be pleasant in other parts of the country as well. This is Shazad Hashmi, of course. Unfortunately, Shazad Khan is missing for today, but it's all right. He's going to be back on Monday, inshallah. So for now, it's going to be you and me, and I hope it's going to be a fun and educational ride as well. Well, first of all, yes, I really hope things are going to turn well into a really positive direction for you guys today. But other than that, I come with a message today. And I know that actually we have spoken about this particular thing a lot of times, probably 10 times for that matter. But it doesn't get old because it keeps happening and we need to fix it. We have a social responsibility, not towards only humans, but all the creations that Allah created, right? And they are around us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's winter, and we come across a lot of posts on social media, even Instagram for that matter, that because animals like kittens or even puppies for that matter, or smaller animals, they, which are not pets actually, they need a warmer place to stay in winter because it is absolutely, absolutely cold, at least in Islamabad here. So they try to find places to hide, like probably sometimes in your tires and where you cannot see in your car, even sometimes in your engine for that matter, under your car. And unfortunately, it has happened in front of me, even with my friends, that you just start the car and get to your way, and unfortunately, you've killed a kitten or a smaller animal for that matter because you did not know it was in the car, seeking for heat. So first of all, please be sure to at least honk or, just put your horn on before you start your car so that in case anything or any animal is resting over there, it gets away. Secondly, on the roads, every other morning when I do come to work, and I'll tell you what, it's 15-ish minutes from my place to work, right? And in just those 15 minutes, every day without a break, I do come across a dead corpse of an animal. It happens, I get it sometimes, it's an accident, yes. But the thing is, don't leave it on the road. First of all, it's not respectful. It's really not respectful. Secondly, it's going to be so disadvantageous to anyone coming from that route as well. So either if you yourself cannot have the courage to probably, dispose the corpse off or probably put it aside, call CDA or concerned authorities. So not to make a mess, first of all. And secondly, keep the space well usable, clean, and respectful for everyone else as well. This was just something that was on my mind, and it really bothers me as well. Sort of sets the tone for your day early in the morning when you're coming to work. You're seeing dead corpse more than two, even sometimes. It does give a negative connotation to your day as well. But this was really something I really hope that it stays with you guys in your mind, so that next time, God forbid, if it does happen, you take care of it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was just something, like I already mentioned, we needed to talk about. Now we're heading into a weekend. The spirits are really lifted, I understand. Well, a lot of students were actually writing to us on our social media pages saying that, hey, our universities and colleges are reopening and we're really not happy about the fact, so talk about it on your show. Well, this is me talking about it on my show, and I really, really do stand with the education minister with this one, because I'll tell you what, guys, while I know it might seem a little boring getting back to school, but this is going to be the best for you. It's been almost a year you guys are off school, right? Everything is online. Don't you feel like socializing again with, of course, SOPs in place, but also having the real social experience in school along with learning? Isn't that the best experience? And a lot of people are also missing out on exams and as to, promotions and whatnot. So this is for the best of all of you guys. But what you have to do is, while you get educated, please do follow the SOPs as well, because unfortunately, well, the pandemic is here to stay, at least for now. And now coming to what we are talking about today. Well, I love Pakistan. I serve the state channel and come to you every other morning because I love to highlight all the good things about Pakistan, but also talk about some of the bad things about Pakistan that we can fix. Nothing is impossible, right? So here we are. We know we are an agrarian society, and more than 60% of the income is actually, well, agricultural. But of that entire, irrigated areas, just 0.21% is actually used to cultivate tobacco. We all know that Pakistan happens to have one of the largest number of tobacco users, and in just that 0.21% of the area that tobacco is cultivated, it actually generates a lot of revenue. And I'll tell you why. This was from the fiscal year 2017 to 18. 88 billion rupees were generated in sales tax just from tobacco, and it keeps increasing every time, and sometimes even decreases, but the number is quite very high. But it doesn't come, of course, it always comes with a cost, with a heavy cost, and that is the health cost. The amount of users, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, 23.9 million people in Pakistan are tobacco consumers. Doesn't that mean that at some point in their life, they will definitely be exposed to, unfortunately, some kind of diseases that, well, non-users will not be? And that health burden is again something that the government has to cater to later on as well. So if I have not already made it clear, we are going to talk about the tobacco industry in Pakistan, how beneficial definitely it is in terms of the economy, but also are there some things that we're missing out on in terms of, well, lawmaking and even implementation for that matter that can actually change the consumption and still keep at the large revenue that we generate? And for this very purpose, actually, we have a very apt person to talk about this. He's been in the business, he's been actually working with the business, helping the business as well. And like I said, he's very apt for this. He happens to be the project director for Smoke Free Cities Pakistan. He's none other than Dr. Minhaj Siraj. Hello, assalamu alaikum, sir. Welcome to my show.
Assalam. Thank you very much.
So, sir, this topic today, first of all, it's probably in my time. This is the first time I'm going to talk about this on my show, but because I already mentioned, this is so important and we need to learn. So, to begin with, the general consumption of tobacco in Pakistan and the supply as well, because we cater to it, right?
Yes.
Let us know about it, please.
In Pakistan, as you rightly said, about 23.9 million people, they are using tobacco products regularly. And every third male, you can say, adult male, is a tobacco user.
Yeah.
And we have about 508 square kilometer of area where this tobacco is grown.
Okay.
It's been a flourishing industry, otherwise in terms of revenue generation and all. But on the other hand, tobacco kills.
Of course.
And for that, we have to know the basic ingredient of the tobacco, which is a nicotine.
Yeah.
The compound, why it is produced in the plants. It's a protective mechanism, which is given by the nature to the crops which are very soft in nature, like tobacco. Eggplants have a lot of nicotine, and so tomato and others. But to extract nicotine is easier from the tobacco leaves because they are larger in size and easy to handle. And you see, nicotine otherwise is a pesticide.
All right.
It protects plants from the attacks of pests. So how about smoking a pesticide?
Imagine
And
what's happening in the lungs.
the best, you can say, the evidence of that pesticide effect can be taken from the hand-woven carpet industry. The rugs and the carpets, which are with the real lamb wool, they are preserved by the tobacco leaves rolled inside them because it acts as a pesticide.
And yet we don't understand the
Then the other major effect of the nicotine is that it's a herbal product, which is a painkiller.
Yeah.
And all the painkiller herbal products, they have additional qualities besides being painkillers. They are addictive in nature.
Yes.
And the tolerance develops on them. So you can give the best example is that is of morphine.
Right.
And when morphine is diacetyl morphine, double compound is the heroin. So all this is never safe to say that any herbal product is safe.
Right.
Tobacco is a herb, and then so is poppy.
Right.
So the chemicals coming out of them, they are painkillers in nature, extremely good painkillers. But when they are misused, so they are addictive in nature, and so every you can say the bad thing goes with the tobacco. But when we talk about the diseases caused by the use of tobacco products, especially cigarettes and all, the nicotine is only giving them, you can say, the hardening of vessels and all kinds of, plus the addictions. The other things which we talk about, cancers and cardiovascular diseases and blindness and so on and so forth, those comes from the chemicals which are added to these products.
Okay.
The industry makes them palatable, makes them more combustible, make them more, you can see they add chemicals to get these nicotine most quickly absorbed into your bloodstream and reaching to your brain cells where they are needed.
Okay.
So all these effects combined, these are only the health issues. And on the one hand, we are getting the revenue coming from the federal excise duty imposed on tobacco products. But on the other hand, we are losing people, and the health costs, which are, you can say, the disability adjusted life years, which a regular tobacco user after 15 or 20 years of tobacco use suffers from. That disability adjusted life year, their cost, if calculated, goes up to at least 1.5 times of that of the revenue generated.
Absolutely.
So we are, at the end of the day, we are the losers.
That is true, and thank you so much for actually putting that out there in that way as well, because where you said that, yes, federal excise duty is something that we really, happy about, let's say, but this is something we cannot ignore, sir, where you mentioned that, you know, if 23.9 million people are using tobacco in Pakistan, do you know that 166,000 of them die annually? And this is for all the various diseases, and some of them, sir, you already mentioned. But now, I want to come back to the supply over here, because when you look at all these facts, these should be discouraging enough, right? Yes. First of all, I'm really happy about the fact that this was probably some very few decades ago that tobacco or cigarette ads were banned, for that matter, on general media, on traditional media, so that it wouldn't encourage people to buy it. Still, well, the sales did maybe go low, but still a large number of people in Pakistan consume tobacco, for that matter. So, sir, what do you think are some of the other discouragement, I want to say, ways where we can actually stop people from getting into this? Because we cannot rely on the industries. They won't stop.
Of course, they don't. But the thing is that we have a very comprehensive tobacco control law in our country.
Oh, please let us know about
it. And that is our Prohibition of Smoking and Protection of Non-Smokers' Health Ordinance 2002. And the title says that it has to prohibit the smoking, and that is only in public places and public transport.
Okay.
And because the second-hand smoke also kills.
Of course.
If I am an adult and I have chosen smoking as my own habit, that is what I have done as a informed, you can say, opinion or whatever the harm I am doing to myself. Yes. But what is the, you can say, if I am harming my colleagues and those people who are under my influence, or my family members who are junior to me and they cannot resist or they cannot object to my smoking. Right. The second-hand smoke which is coming out of my smoking habit is injuring them as much as it is harming me. So the law is there to protect those people. And for that implementation of the law, the government has devised an implementation policy, and that is about smoke-free cities. Right. And Islamabad is a good model for that. Yeah. We do not allow anybody to smoke in a public place or a restaurant or any office, and plus the public transport. So that is the basic concept of the implementation of the law. And then when you are talking about the ads of the tobacco products, yes, the government had banned them. And the recent development in that is the point of sale ads have been banned in January 2020. Yes. Those bans are yet to be implemented because the health ministry has been focusing on the COVID control mostly last year and still it is going on. But the major philosophy behind the point of sale ad ban was that tobacco products are displayed purposefully near the cash counters.
Yes.
Yeah, the power walls are there because that's an impulsive buying. And when you have taken a grocery of, say, about 800 rupees and you have given 1,000, you'll say, okay, add 1 or 2 tobacco packs to that. Plus, they are always displayed at the level of the eye level of the children. Right. So you see, the eye level is the buy level. So when the children have something in their direct line of sight, they get attracted to it.
Absolutely.
And if you might notice that most of the times the major stores, they place these products with around these chocolates and chewing gums and candy things, because the children should not realize that this is a poison which they are going to get to their from their pocket money.
So normalized, and actually.
So for that matter, the government has now banned. Legally, it is not allowed to get a Powerball of the tobacco products. We are working on that for the implementation mechanism. The government has already requested the chief secretaries of all the provinces and the district law enforcement agencies have started working on that.
That's good news. All right, and so that's actually, well, something very interesting. But now taking you back to where you said, you know, how its placement is actually a major, I want to call it a propaganda, right? It's propaganda advertisement, actually. But here's the thing, it is so normalized over here in our country, and I'm going to speak for Pakistan for right now, and it's not looked down upon. You know, if you come across, every other day we do come across people, and youngsters for that matter, smoking, and it's never looked down upon as compared to, well, let's talk about, unfortunately we have to talk about, but let's talk about the West. So the packaging over there, right, and the packaging over here, yes, it does give you some gruesome images of the diseases that you might get of your foot or your face, whatnot. Does not stop anyone, to be honest, sir. It does not stop anyone. But the images in the West, again, I'm going to cite an example from Europe. It would be an emotional take on what might actually happen. For example, a baby with a cigarette in its mouth. So for, like you said, passive smoking. So if you're smoking at home and if you have children, you'll probably look at the package and think twice, you know what, my baby is going to smoke too. And similar things. First of all, what do you think about that? You think that might have an impact? Secondly, you have to explain one thing to me. So on average, 10% of the income of a general, I want to say middle class Pakistani is spent on cigarettes, as compared to a lot spent by people living in downtrodden segments or below the poverty line. So what is the demographics we're looking at? How come people who cannot afford are actually more invested in it?
You see, the first thing about the packaging, we have the pictorial health warning on that, and it covers about 65% of the packet. But the trends are now changing. The WHO recommends, and Australia and New Zealand have switched over to that, and most of the developed countries are following the trend. Okay. And Pakistan is also now working on that to bring plain packages.
Okay.
You see, this is the only product display for the tobacco industry now, because they cannot give ads to the social media or the electronic or print media, or they cannot place any ad on any wall. Okay. Or so now the only the product, the cigarette pack, is the only thing left on which they can advertise. So the trend has changed, and instead of any gruesome picture or anything, we are going towards plain packs. Yes. No brand names, no nothing. It's only a brand name or maybe a picture of any disease, but no name of the brand or anything else. Got it. The product things. So that is going to be in Pakistan also. We have started working on that. So maybe instead of enhancing the size of the cancer picture or other thing, we might be going for the plain packaging very soon, as the latest trend in the world is for tobacco control. Okay. And talking about the poverty and the thing is that yes, the tobacco industry, it damages the development also. And I'm sure my worthy friend from the SDGs thing, they will be talking about these things later on, but I just want to mention, as you rightly pointed out, that the SDG 1, that is, there should be no poverty in the tobacco industry, damages that. An average worker who is doing a meager labor job or anything else, he spends about 6 to 8% of his regular income on buying tobacco products.
And that is so low already.
And then when the time comes for his maximum use of his physical and mental power, that is after he started smoking at about 15 or 16 years of age, by the time he reaches 28 or 30. So he is married, he has got 1 or 2 kids depending on him, he has old parents at home to look after, he has about 1 or 2 maybe younger siblings to take care of. At that time he starts getting diseases from the tobacco use, and he starts spending about 15 to 18% of his income on the cure of those diseases which is caused by the use of tobacco. So you see, if that person, lower middle class people who are the most consumers of the tobacco products, if they start avoiding it, they can give better livelihoods to their own selves, and they can perform better physically, mentally. Because you see, when a laborer that talks about that, let me smoke a cigarette and then I will do this job. There
are proper smoke breaks in offices.
So that doesn't mean that that is an energy kind of drink or it gives you a boost or something. No, your brain cells are dependent on that poison. till the time your saturation is completed, the nicotine level in your brain cells, you are not able to perform physically or mentally. So you are dependent on that chemical.
Well, that does make sense, and that is really unfortunate as well. But ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for busting a myth, and it is a myth, and I'm telling you because I have talked about it with our guest over here as well. But ever since the pandemic started, I have been personally, and I think you guys too have been coming across posts on social media saying that research shows that people who smoke have lesser chance of developing COVID-19 as compared to people who don't smoke. Well, there's first of all no proof of it. Second of all, there's no science of it. And now I'm going to move on to Dr. Siraj over here, Dr. Minhaj over here, who's going to tell us if it is actually a myth or not. Smokers do not contract COVID-19.
Thank you very much. That is basically a tobacco industry engineered studies and I can say misconceptions.
Misconception, right.
You see what COVID is doing to the lungs. There are hemorrhages getting inside. And mostly the area of the lungs which are there to absorb air, they get hard, stony hard, and they lose their functions. Okay. How can tobacco smoke affect that? It is not steroid, it is not, you can say, a blood thinning agent. Absolutely. Or nothing that. Rather, it has the chemicals which are added to the tobacco products. They are already causing lung cancers and all kind of things. Absolutely. So it does not help. Rather, you are making worse. If your lungs are compromised, you are most likely to get fatal disease from the COVID. Of course. And here I will just take 1 minute to convey to your viewers that recently in the second wave, which we are confronting, rather because I am now posted at a hospital, Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences, we are directly dealing with the COVID patients. And in second wave, those patients which are coming to us are very, very sick. And they are far more in worse conditions rather than when we were in the first wave. Right. And that is mostly because of these people who are doing self-medications at home. Okay. And they are doing medications and they are trying to take oxygen at home. And when their things get worsened, then they rush to the hospitals. Right. And by the time they reach hospital, then we are in no position to save them. Right. So the mortality this time is very high because of these self-medications going on at home.
Everyone likes to be
I will like to request all those that if you get any symptom, please rush to the nearest, you can say the qualified medical specialist or a good government center to get the treatment.
All right, and that is very important, and thank you so much for mentioning that. And thank you for being here as well, Dr. Minhaj. Thank you for enlightening us, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from the horse's mouth straight that this second wave is actually, taking us into a storm, sort of. It's way harsher and way severe than the first wave. Self-medication, Dr. Sab over here said, is not a good answer, so please seek experts' opinion. And, well, other than the COVID as well, health benefits, health diseases actually, in terms of the disorders that one contracts after smoking or inhaling similar products is something that is way beyond our imagination. So while we do celebrate the amount of, revenue we generate, that happens to be 115 billion as compared to the health burden, which happens to be 192 billion rupees for Pakistani government. Can we really afford that? I mean, imagine the productive minds that should actually be in the industries working and generating revenue for the country, for the government, will be compromised because of their tobacco use, and instead government has to spend on their diseases. That is not helpful, ladies and gentlemen, and this was actually a sort of a very scary picture that we painted early in the morning, but it was important as well for people like me, for people like you to learn. And throughout this segment, actually, we did talk about how when we talk about smoking, I mean, we're actually sort of harming the climate as well, the environment around us as well. And then poverty, Dr. Sab over here says, is actually increased by, it is directly proportional to the use or the consumption of tobacco as well. The science is actually, we spoke about it in detail, but are we really doing something to fight this poverty on a individual level? The government definitely is, but as a community, as a society, as individuals, are we really doing something about it? When we talk about the SDGs, there are so many that we still need to realize, and up until 2030, how far along are we in terms of that? This is what I want to talk about right after this very short break, ladies and gentlemen, so stay tuned, because when we come back, it's going to be even more informative. Good morning.
The ancient city of Taxila is the heart of stonework in Pakistan. This art, which has been preserved and practiced for centuries, can be seen on many major landmarks of the country. Notably, the Pietra Dura work in the Lahore Fort's Sheesh Mahal. These stone products take days to complete and require immense precision and skill from the craftsmen. The final products are perfect for souvenirs, gifts and decoration pieces, each depicting the richness of Pakistani culture at its best. Camel skin and ivory craft are trademarks of Multan's handicraft repertoire. Camel skin is cleaned, dried and mounted onto molds which can be of any shape desired. Multicolored lacquer painting is then used to ornament the molds, which in the end bear a Mughal or Persian feel. Ivory is crafted into pens, chess sets, jewelry and other accessories such as keychains by the expert craftsman. Such detailed work, while being extravagant, is indeed a feat to achieve, and craftsmen of Multan produce beauty with their work which is worthy of global admiration. The enchanting arts and crafts of Pakistan.
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Shaza Hashmi, and I hope you're actually, going to start your day with a very healthy plate of breakfast. Here's the thing, the world has now become a global village. No country stands alone. The dynamics actually of the international relations have changed to a matter that for prosperity and for moving forward, unity is the answer, and no one can actually prosper being alone, like I already said. So to realize that since the last century, the United Nations organization is actually doing anything and everything to first of all hold the world peace and then move towards development together. So what they did is set SDGs, and they are development goals that countries need to realize, well, together of course, and then they are also sort of a standard that needs to be set for the world to develop. So for the SDGs that have been set for the year 2030, and then we will see of course if we have realized them or not, I want to actually learn where Pakistan stands, being a member state of the United Nations as well, and being one of the largest troops contributor to the UN as well. I think a lot of people, a lot of researchers, a lot of academicians do put Pakistan under the category of third world countries or developing country for that matter. But being a Pakistani and living inside this country, I don't feel that way. But in fact, I really do want to learn what we can do and how fast and what are the ways we can actually realize those SDGs so that we can move forward and not be under this category anymore. And to talk about this, I think I have a very apt person, like I always say, but this one actually happens to be really apt because he's going to answer a lot of my questions about the SDGs and what communities can actually do to be a part of, realizing those goals as well. He happens to be the country director for CDRS, ladies and gentlemen, none other than Dr. Khalil A. Khan. Hello, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Assalamu
Welcome to Well this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. It's really great to actually have someone with this spirit and energy and a smiling face early in the morning. So, sir, I think you heard my preamble as well. So I want you to explain to me, of course, and all my audiences out there.
Okay.
Where do we stand in terms of realizing the SDGs?
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, thank you very much for having me here.
It's my pleasure, sir.
And the second thing is early in the morning then it's making some sense that early in the morning cup of tea,
Yes.
a fantastic cup of tea of in Pakistan television with the plate of SDGs. So it's it's making a sense that we are serious now to do something. It's a breakfast and great breakfast, mashallah. So it's fantastic, and I'm looking you people, I'm watching regularly you people that you are on and off inviting people on SDGs.
Yes.
This is a very burning issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nowadays. Now come to the question, what is SDGs? This is, I think so now might be clear to each and everyone in Pakistan and abroad also that SDGs are Sustainable Development Goals, and it is fixed for 2030. And this is the last year, 2030 is the last year that you have to achieve this.
Right.
If you are looking to the definition of the SDGs, the definition of the SDGs, there are a lot of definition in the world and in Pakistan also, some local organization giving and some international organization also giving definitions. But it's a universal call basically to action, to end the poverty and to give the very better world to the people living here and to the posterity.
Right.
This is the basic definition. I think I like this definition,
It
and
makes
you know
sense.
that more than 100 definition is there.
Okay.
But I like this definition, that a better world for the posterity, for the living people and for the posterity. So this is very good then. I think that SDG is covering many things. Now the SDG is not for the Asia, it is not fixed by the government of Pakistan or not fixed by some other people that to force on someone. It's basically fixed by the United Nations, which is a organization might be don't have any problem with the world. So it is fixed by them for the whole world, for the 7.8 billion people of the world, not for only Pakistan or Asia or for Africa or developed or undeveloped countries. No, this is for each and everyone.
It's a universal solution.
Universal solution. This is a milestone that
Got it.
Now, what's the Pakistan? Because we are focusing on Pakistan, our subject is Pakistan, and my specialty is I'm working since 20 years with the non-governmental organization.
Great.
And having experience with the government organization, with public sector also. So at this level that I can share my experiences with you of the non-governmental organization, because non-governmental organization directly involved in the whole process, you know, because the SDGs is for the non-governmental organization also, not only for the governmental organization. It's a target for the government, because government is signed this this paper, but the NGOs might be the helper of the government of Pakistan.
Got it.
So the SDGs is a milestone that as I told you. The second, then this SDGs having 3 pillars.
Okay.
3 pillars it has. The number 1 is economic pillar. The number 2 is environmental pillar. And the third one is a social pillar.
Got it.
These 3 pillars that you have to take these parallel with one another, you know.
Okay.
You can never leave one and can take a one and you can never invest on one and to leave the second one.
behind.
So you have to take these all with yourself. That's why the NGO is involved in between.
Okay.
Why I turn to the SDGs and I'm talking on SDGs because I am from the non-governmental organization.
Yeah.
But I'm looking to the world, and now this time I'm sitting with the international organization, and this organization where I'm the country director. So over there, they know each and everything, how to do and what to do about to help the people,
Yes.
you know, under the international umbrella.
Okay.
So the SDGs international umbrella, you have to follow the rules and regulation of them, and you have the 17 goals with the 169 what we can say that component there then to explain then how to do these all jobs then.
Okay.
So this is the SDGs.
Sorry if I'm
Yeah.
cutting you, but let's take on it one by one because we're short on time and I need
Yeah,
to discuss
please.
all of this as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So let's talk, if we talk about no poverty or zero poverty, you're leaving no one behind for that matter
yeah.
in terms of poverty. the goal is same for every other country, but the means may be different, of course, because Pakistan is different in terms of its progress and where we stand as compared to the US, let's say.
Yeah.
So how we achieve zero poverty will be different as compared to the US. So how are we doing it?
Yeah, it's a difficult question.
And
that,
do you think it will be sustainable?
Yeah,
It
must be sustainable.
Yeah.
Yes, this is also might be the part of this, must be the part of this program, the sustainability.
Yes.
But this is very important, that sustainability is very important before the each and everything.
Of course.
Unfortunately, there is a very shortage of this thing, sustainability in
Right.
Pakistan and Asia also as well. But yeah, the question is where we standing. The Pakistan number is this time is 134 in the world.
Into poverty.
Yeah, in the SDGs.
Okay,
In the
okay.
SDGs.
Okay.
And this is international statistic by the different organization with the United Nations, unfortunately. And in 2016, we were 115. Now you can imagine that we are declining our position. You see, why that we are declining our position? That there are many reasons, because the government is not responsible for each and everything that we are asking about the government. The government is not responsible for each and everything, but he is involved. But we are 134 in the world, so it's painful.
Not a good number.
Yeah, it's painful. It's painful. So it's not a good number, and we have to go for this because to increase the position of Pakistan.
Okay.
The government of Pakistan can do this. Each and every one can do that, but the NGO and the government of Pakistan can do that.
All right, but sir, how so? So because when we're talking about it, I think we need to definitely do justice to it as well. So when we talk about zero poverty, ladies and gentlemen, sir mentioned that we stand in 134th position in terms of realizing the SDGs, and poverty, removing poverty being one of the main SDGs and number one even for that matter. Is it right?
Yeah, exactly.
So my point being that this is not the government's only responsibility. The government can only do so much, but I'm so really happy and proud that actually the incumbent government, PTI, is doing a lot for the common man, and especially for people living in the downtrodden segments of the society. Let's take a look at SR's program for that matter. Now, society, individuals and NGOs actually come in together with the government to remove poverty, if we're still talking about poverty. Sir, how do you think, first of all, do you think that the policies that the government is now adopting, they can actually make a sustainable change in terms of removing, let's not say removing, decreasing poverty in Pakistan, because removing is not realistic, complete removing. And then how can NGOs be more proactive and, mobilize communities in realizing this?
This is a very fantastic question, but it's very hard question. Might be the 4 or 5 people can answer these question. The government, the stakeholder, all stakeholders, the public sector and private sector, and me also then like this. But I told you off the record that I was also the part of on the behalf of my organization with the SR's program.
Yes, you were.
So the madam is doing a fantastic job.
Really?
I think that she is the lady of the world. You know that
That's
it's
nice.
a fantastic job. I highly appreciated the job of Dr. Saba. Dr. Nashtar is, I think that I didn't see in my 25 years career, and especially 20-year career, that he is a fantastic gentle lady. But what's the problem in policy? That it's a very good question of you, that policies and the NGOs and the public sector.
Okay.
So the main problem we have, the NGOs people are afraid from the government of Pakistan. This is a one negative thing then, which is looking to me then. You see, I was working with the world biggest donor agency, the world biggest, not of Pakistan or Asia, the world biggest organization. That I'm giving this example to you, how to promote the understanding between the government and non-governmental organization. So I was working with the biggest agency of the world. They asked me then, that the biggest organization has their own term and condition, asking me then do this and that and this and that you fulfill the pro forma and also go for this and go for this. We fulfill all the requirements of them.
Got it.
For 13 months. Look, I'm asking about the criteria. Same criteria is we have in the government of Pakistan with the public sector. So they asked me to do this, and the government of Pakistan, one organization was also in between over here. That you see. So we were talking to them. We were fulfilling all the requirements of them, and we are going very well. For 13 months to invest the 1.5 million of the orphan children of this project. By the end of this whole process, this organization told me then we are now coming for the institutional assessment, which is we call IA.
Okay.
So institutional assessment is be done there. Okay, we told them that you can come. They came to us and they done each and everything. When they gone back. And after 2-3 days, they send me letter, thank you very much, we can never run with you.
We can never do that. Oh, okay. Why?
So I'm telling you,
Okay,
this is the process. It was me then, being a typical Pathan and also, a director project there I was.
Okay.
So at those days, it's 14, 15. So I told them then, how it is possible then? Thank you very much. That because the 1.5 million of the orphan children are invested, and you done the first step after 13 months. The institutional assessment you have to done in the start.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you come to me, then thank you very much.
Right.
It's correct that, okay, thank you. So I told them, no, you have to send me the deficiency and we have to go for, I took this budget.
Okay.
And this is the biggest project after Rawalpindi, Islamabad with this state of the art organization.
Nice.
So I had done this,
Wow.
but it was me. Not everyone then fight with the people and to go for thank you very much. No, you can never say thank you very much. Just like this, Her Excellency, the government of Pakistan and the organization with the government of Pakistan is bothering the people somewhere.
Okay.
This is
How
not
so?
because that the certification, the
process
the
is not
NOCs, the process,
user-friendly. Got it.
Okay, they don't have any checklist with them then to ask to the people that you have to follow this and this, So this is basically the bothering.
Okay.
Now it is reduced with time, this government, because very strict in this, that if you are calling to the emergency police or someone, that they immediately take your telephone. That this is for the first time we are seeing in Pakistan, and some organization that they are going very well. But I think that we need the understanding between the government and the non-governmental organization, and the government and the public sector organization, which is responsible for these all activities. They need to do understanding with the non-governmental organization.
Yes, I agree with you, sir. But don't you think, and I think you can actually further this point as well, that when we talk about the academia, we do have some think tanks, but we do not have a lot of them. We do have some productive ones, but then again, out of the entire number we have of think tanks, a lot of them are not even productive. So first of all, how can we inculcate the discourse of realizing sustainable goals throughout the education system? Do you think that youngsters who are like in the primary or even elementary, secondary school for that matter, should have the knowledge of these things, first of all, because it will invoke humanity into them, of course, and then they will be responsible. Do you think we're missing out on it?
Yeah, this is missing looking to me. Then I'm going to the university by myself and colleges and schools,
Okay.
and I'm giving the lecture. Now COVID-19 stopped this, but before this, unfortunately, we are not working. Many countries added it in the course even,
Okay.
and they are taking it serious. People don't know about people. I'm not talking about the people. If I'm calling some NGOs, which is working with the side by side with the government of Pakistan
Yes.
and SDGs, I'm asking them some points about the SDGs. They ask me that we don't know what is SDGs. So this is basically the matter,
Imagine that.
Yeah, this is
People not
basically the
even
matter.
knowing.
The people don't know SDGs and about their rights, about their thing that, and even when I appeared somewhere on social media or somewhere, then the people are asking me, sending me the questions that you told about this thing and that thing, that how it is possible then to set with the government of Pakistan.
Right.
Know that I told you that I was also setting with the SAS program.
Yes, yes.
It is a working group. You told very well that it's some think tank and this type of people, So the think tank and these people are very important, but the government of Pakistan no listening the people,
Okay.
listening the NGOs,
It is
and this is it's called the working group.
Yeah.
Working group of SAS program, which is head by the Dr. Sania Nashtar,
Of course.
and the top class NGOs are sitting there in the with the Dr. Sania Nashtar on orphan policies. So like this everywhere, this open with the Speaker National Assembly also working very closely with the non-governmental organization. So I think that it's the NGO needs to come to the government of Pakistan. Don't afraid and come to the government of Pakistan and sit with them.
They're open to the suggestions.
They're
and of
open
course
for the
they're there to
suggestion,
help
yes,
as well.
yes.
But thank you so much for being here, Dr. Khalil. It was insightful, but since we're very short on time, but I think we made the most of it. I really hope everyone out there watching my show today is going to take something away from it as well. Because like Dr. Sab over here mentioned as well, it is the common responsibility of individuals, not only government, to first of all learn about and then realize the sustainable goals, because it will eventually be for the betterment and the prosperity of your own beloved country, Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, if you still have any questions, any sort of feedback, or if you're curious about something, let us know. We'll answer to you through our social media pages. Facebook with the name of Well This Morning, and on Twitter with the name of Well This Morning without a G, Daily Motion on YouTube. You can search for the PTV World channel and then look for our show Well This Morning. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend ahead. Remember me, my entire team in your prayers for today. Jummah Mubarak, and I'll see you on Monday, inshallah. Allah Hafiz. Take care.